Oh man, so Quant token is exploding. It is up over 400% since just June, up as much as 17% today, now up 10% on the day. Is this a token I'm buying? What is my price prediction and how can we trade this profitably? Don't forget to smash the like button. If you want to trade Quant, you can do so using the links in the description to BYBIT or BITGET. As you can see, the price is absolutely exploding, and since the bottoms in June, Quant has completely decoupled from Bitcoin and has been on a trajectory of its own. We're going to try to identify when's a good time to be entering this, both as a long-term trade, but also as a short momentum-based trade. Whether we like it or not, this current move is based on momentum. There's no clear fundamental catalyst. We're going to explore some of the fundamental things that Quant have been doing well and the problems they look to address. But right now, it is clear that this is a lot of retail interest. This is a lot of crypto Twitter interest as well, which is helping some positive movements in the price, which you can also take advantage of. First and foremost, let's take a look at this in terms of how we've moved. You can take the measured move here from the bottom all the way to the wick we had today, which brings you to 473% return in just 123 days of a bear market. You take it down to where we're at now, 430%. What is this project and what does it hope to achieve? If you take a look at it, Quant is built for interoperability. So whether you look at the likes of Polkadot, whether you look at the likes of Cosmos Atom, they're in that field. They're trying to tackle the issue around creating blockchains which integrate with each other and can work together in layman's terms. Now, not only are they trying to do that, but they're looking to do that for enterprises. What Quant have smartly noticed, as other interoperability players have noticed as well, is that enterprises will suddenly try to pivot across to Web3. If any of you are old enough to remember Web 2 in terms of e-commerce websites, normal websites, and also social media, right? How do we get a Facebook page? How do we get an Instagram page? How do we use TikTok? Companies were really slow to adopt. And what happens is huge corporates suddenly realize that there's a huge gulf which they don't understand how to operate, but they need to save their business. And they throw money, therefore, at these fields to try and figure it out on an enterprise level. It's going to be the same for Web3. Enterprises like JP Morgan, like Citibank, huge banks, huge companies will be coming across and trying to understand, how do we set up our tokens? How do we accept payments? How do we do all these things? And that is where Quant is trying to position themselves to be able to tackle all of these key issues, whether it's digital currencies, which is huge from a CBDC front, but also creating currencies for companies. Maybe a bank wants their own coins. Maybe a social media company wants their own coins. Maybe all these different companies, like a hairdresser, wants to tokenize and create their own coins for their loyal customer, right? Quant will enable you to be able to do that through interoperability and through using their tokenized system. And this is one of the big things that was launched. They launched in June, which is one of the catalysts which arised, that's where their uptick really started, was they launched their tokenized in beta. Just as you have ERC20, there is now QRC20. So they've launched their own token standard, which means that anybody can spin up a token that standard. Again, part of their route for allowing enterprises to use that system to go ahead and build their own token. So that's a really promising step and one of the things they've done really well. They've also launched their own NFT standard, okay? So they called the NFT standard QRC 721. But again, allowing people to start using NFTs, huge fashion brands, huge entertainment labels, they're going to want to understand, how can we get a piece of this NFT pie? Again, Quant are trying to position themselves to take advantage of that. So this is not meant to be a full fundamental deep dive, but you can get a good understanding from there about what issues they're trying to tackle. But then you want to look at some of their numbers, right? Get a quick headline scan of how big a project is this and how stable are the tokenomics. And again, this is not a detailed tokenomics video. If you want that, comment below tokenomics and I will get that video made for you guys as my normal deep dive of the tokenomics that I do for our other great projects, which we look at as well. But quick scan here, $2.6 billion in market cap. So immediately in a bear market, this is not a small project. I won't class this as small. It's now entered the top 30 in terms of coin market cap data. And you can see fully diluted, they're sitting at 3.2 billion. Quick check at the circulating supply, 83% is good. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. It doesn't mean that that there isn't a huge amount of tokens which are going to be dumped on the market, right? Most of the tokens are in circulating supply. Now, if we look at their all-time high market cap, they sat as far up as 4.6 billion earlier in towards the end of 2021. Okay, that was during the end of the bull market. So they've set some precedents of being at that level. So they're still a double away from their all-time highs, roughly speaking. I want to show you how big can this project get, because there's two things we're going to want to get to the bottom of when setting our price predictions. One, where do we think this project can go short term in terms of the momentum and the hype, and can we get a quick trade out of this using the links in the description, of course? But also, what do we want to do in terms of our long-term portfolio? Is it going to form? Is it going to make it into our portfolio alongside the likes of Atom and a Polkadot? And in order for me to do that, I need to understand how big can this project get. The first thing you do when valuing any project is you want to find a comparable, right? If you're valuing real estate, you find something comparable. If you're valuing stocks, you find something comparable. So let's go ahead and compare this with something like Atom. And we'll go ahead and compare it to Cosmos Atom. Now, what you notice is, currently speaking, Quant is only, and I say only, 14% undervalued versus Atom. It's 14% smaller than Atom. So there's a 14% gain to be had if Quant was the same size as Atom. So there's not a huge amount of scope for it to get much bigger according to that. Now, if you were to use a different stick as a measuring stick and use Polkadot, then you've got a 2.3x possible here. So Quant can 2.3x and still only be at Polkadot's bear market cap. You could make the argument that when things are going well, Bitcoin is booming, Ethereum is booming, Polkadot should be much higher than it is now, but it already has been, right? Even if it just returns to all-time highs. So to argue that Quant can't do a 2.5x roughly from here to Polkadot's current size, it's something that it can do. It's very reasonable for it to get to that kind of a size. 10, 12, 13, 14 billion in market cap, right? Given what they're trying to do. Now, longer term, if you're investing this and holding for many years, of course you'd want it to even eclipse that. And maybe that's something we could look at in another deep dive for Quant. But that is one thing I wanted to look at, is how much more legs does it have? And you can already see it is getting quite beefy. It's not cheap, okay? You're buying at prices which aren't super cheaper than the likes of DOT and Atom at current market rates. But that is because the market is so super suppressed right now, and Quant has just done a 400% return already over since June, right? So in 4 or 5 months. You can also compare to something like Cardano, okay? Now Cardano, you know, they're trying to step into the interoperability space as well, and that would give you a 4x. So Quant is still a quarter of the size of Cardano, but again, Cardano has been around for a while. It's been there, done that. But a lot of people argue, look, it's a ghost chain. Nobody's using it. Why has that got a market cap of that high, right? So that's the argument some people can make from the Quant perspective. So all that to say, those are some comparables to put it in your mind of how big a project is this? Is it tiny? Is it huge? How much more can it go? And hopefully that gives you a perspective. So anybody telling you, oh, this is going to 1000x, I think after seeing this, you can safely rule that out. Even if somebody's saying, oh, this is going to 10x in the next couple of days, I think using your rational mind, you could probably say that's a little bit silly as well, because a 10x would take it, you know, double the size of Cardano here, right? Just quick maths. So that is the first perspective from a long-term hold. But then I know there's a lot of you guys who just want a price target in terms of the short term. Where can it go in terms of the short term? And I think one way which we can do this, and obviously whenever you're doing this in terms of hype and momentum, it's very hard to use technical analysis, okay? As you can see, this is just pure parabolic. I do want to pull out the Fibonacci levels, and I'm going to take it from swing low to swing high. And what we want to do from there is you want to look at some key levels. Now, we've just broken through the 0.382 mark. Okay, so we've made some success breaking through that level. But let's see, what are the next key levels? Well, the next key level is going to be your 50% retracement mark, which brings you to a $235 quant. Now, that's where we're fighting between right now. So there is an argument to say, okay, we could work our way to 0.5, but will we see some rejection? The more interesting space is, can it get back to its golden pocket ratio between 281 and 293? If it can, the return you're looking for there from current prices, roughly speaking, into, let's say, the top of the golden, let's put it in the middle of the golden pocket ratio, is a 36% return. Okay, so that's what you're looking at here. So anybody who's telling you this is going to go crazy and do 1000x, look, we can safely rule that out. But is there some returns we had? Yes, potentially, but you do not want to be chasing those green candles. What I mean by that is, let's bring out our EMA ribbon, and I want to pop down to the daily. If I was chasing this as a momentum play on the day chart, ideally what I'd want this to do is call off. I hate chasing things when they're super extended from its EMA ribbon. So ideally, in an ideal world, I want this to call off down to this 155 level and do a dip buy around this level for a short-term trade back up, right? And wait for the next impulsive move to the upside. Now, we've got to be careful. RSI is super oversold. Volume is looking good today, okay? Volume has shown positive movement here. But if I drop down to the 4 hourly, you can notice something interesting. we are getting a little bit of a bullish continuation pattern. Okay, this is where it cools down a little bit. Now, these moments can be good moments to start building a little trade position if you're looking to trade something like this. But it's far better that if you're looking to enter this position, you don't chase on these legs, you buy on these legs. You don't chase on this leg, you try to nibble on this leg. You don't chase here, you try to wait for something like this and nibble on those legs. That is the aim of the game with these momentum plays, and hopefully you then have a little bag which you can chase on the momentum moves. But you have to be very, very careful. These things can U-turn very, very quickly. This token particularly is starting to get a bunch of retail interest. People will start to talk about it a lot more and cover it a lot more, so it could still have some more movements to the upside, but you've got to be careful that you're not the one left holding the bag with a project like this. Now, what would make me feel more confident is that this project does have fundamental things it's trying to achieve, right? If you look at the metrics are looking good. I took a look at some of the whale addresses, and people holding between 100 and 1,000 quant, which is about $200,000 on the upper limit, has really grown since June, okay? So it's grown from about 1.3 million all the way to 1.7 million. And this is during a bear market where other coins haven't been seeing that type of growth. So we are seeing some nice progress, but again, this decoupling in a bear market isn't sustainable for too long. It's had its move, it's been up 400% since June, and now the question is, you want to trade it on the short term, do so very, very carefully. Try to buy on the cooling off periods, let the RSIs reset, try to pick them up closer to EMA ribbons. If you cannot on the daily EMA ribbon, then at least on the 4-hourly EMA ribbon when things are consolidating, and definitely try to sell on the rips, right? When they're ripping up, these are the moments you want to be pulling out and trying to buy back in again on the dips. If you're looking to buy this for your longer term portfolio, then that's a completely different story. Then you need to be building your conviction. Then you need to be laddering in your buys. You need to be setting, waiting for a major reset for this to cool off after this crazy run. And then you want to be looking at adding quant as a part of your long-term portfolio. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. If you want to buy any quant, you can do so using BYBIT or BitGet. Links in description. BitGet are actually offering you money. They give you free, I think, 15 USDT just for signing up, even without depositing. So take advantage of that. Go watch my Cadena video here. Comment below if you want to see the tokenomics of quant, and I'll see you in the next one.